And yes, my name is Coach Lucy, and I'm seeing who our vision statement has been projected on the screen. So I will read this that's on the screen. Thank you, Coach Isaac. I'd like us to start with reading our mission and vision statement so that we understand who we are. I know most of you who are here already know this, but we keep getting new people who are watching this, new people who are gonna join later on. So we love to repeat this, right? So as you can see on our screen, Kingdom Financial Institute is a financial literacy school dedicated to empowering and equipping first-generation wealth builders with the knowledge, skills, and tools essential for the purpose of building, preserving, and transferring wealth to the next generation. Our mission is to equip and empower first-generation wealth builders with the knowledge, skills, and tools they need to build, preserve, and transfer wealth based on biblical principles. And through our financial literacy and wealth building coaching, we aim to educate, empower, support, and inspire first-generation wealth builders. Lastly, our vision is to be a beacon of financial enlightenment and empowerment for first-generation wealth builders. We aspire to see individuals and families rise above financial challenges, prosper in their endeavors, and pass down their wealth to future generations. We envision a community of financially literate and prosperous individuals who embrace biblical principles, enabling them to navigate the complexities of the financial world while leaving a lasting legacy of financial security and prosperity. So that is who we are as Kingdom Financial Institute in a nutshell. And if you'd like to know more about Kingdom Financial Institute, also feel free to check out our website at kingdomfinancialinstitute.com. And at this moment, I'd also like to read to you who the founder of Kingdom Financial Institute is. So you can also get a brief of the founder. I'll just read. Our founder is Coach Isaac Kubvoruno, who is a seasoned financial literacy and consultant and wealth building coach with over 23 years of entrepreneurial success. He's driven by the biblical mandate to create generational wealth, as exemplified by Proverbs 13:22 that says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Coach Isaac is also the visionary behind Kingdom Business Academy, which is an institution that offers Bible-based business coaching, leadership development, and entrepreneurial guidance. His holistic approach and profound understanding of the intersection of faith and finance make him a sought-after speaker, coach, and mentor dedicated to helping others achieve financial success and leave a lasting legacy. So welcome, Coach Isaac. We are glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Coach Lucy, for the generous introduction. And thank you for all the work that you do behind the scenes. Many people are not aware of the many hours that you spend behind the scenes, supporting others and ensuring that everybody gets the information they need on time, that the recordings on time, and everything else between those things. So thank you, Coach Lucy, and may God bless you for your consistency and for your dedication. Welcome, everybody. Want to thank God for all the ones that are here. Like we said, like I always say, that even if there's one person coming, you can count on me. I'll be the second person. And Coach Lucy has also committed to doing that. Coach Fanny is here as well, and and many others. Welcome, Timothy. Welcome, Dr. Chirara. Welcome, Kimberly. I see you. I see you all. May God bless you. Today we are continuing with what we were talking about last week, and it's a message that has changed many lives, especially around the area of budgeting. And you realize that we've spent more time on budgeting than anywhere else because it's pivotal. If you are able to budget, budgeting is pivotal to your ability to build, preserve, and to transfer wealth. So I hope that you are taking the time to go back to the lessons that we have learned and re-listening and also writing notes, your own personal notes. This kind of information is not information you can just listen to. This is information that you have listened and listen and listen and write notes and make those notes yours. Again, I emphasize that this is life transforming information. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can delve into today's lesson. Welcome everybody. Now, last week we started a topic under budgeting that talked about preparing for the rainy day. And we did part 1 of it. Today we are doing part 2, preparing for the rainy day. What the COVID crisis taught us about the need to prepare for the unknown. If you did not learn anything around that crisis, it means that you are bound to repeat it. That disruption to the normalcy of life, we are guaranteed that it will come even worse in the future. Right? The Bible predicts these things are coming. Therefore, we need to prepare for them. That one was just a wake-up call. It was not even the worst one. It was a wake-up call so that we can understand our preparedness for those inevitable circumstances. The question is, if something twice COVID-19 would come today, are you ready for it? That is the truth. Are you ready for it? If something like that was to come today, or next week, or next month, will you be ready? If there is a sudden disruption to our daily activities, if you are not able to go to work, and the schools are closed, and the factories are closed, are you able to continue to put food on the table? COVID-19 pandemic was a pressure test to see if we are able. And if we are not, then we have to take some lessons from it and apply them. All of us. While it was a crisis, it was also an opportunity to learn a new way of life, an opportunity to be prepared, an opportunity to know what to prepare and what not to prepare, an opportunity to know how much money we need to survive should life be disrupted, should we suddenly lose our income, should we suddenly lose our jobs, should we suddenly incur medical expenses, should we suddenly end up in hospital. COVID-19 came as a wake-up call to enable us to be prepared for it. Yeah, I know I wrote some an outline of a book on the lessons learned from COVID and how we can prepare for the future. And with time, it shall come up. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot. There are things that I thought I was prepared for, but I wasn't. So we're saying that if we are children of God, we have to be prepared for these things. We cannot allow pandemics to come and disrupt life and then not learn from it. And then they come back again and we are surprised. Right? As a financial literacy coach myself, I witnessed firsthand the profound impact of that global crisis to many individuals and families, many of whom were not prepared for it. I believe that if we were to give each other chances to share the things that we learned from it, I believe we would. We would need days, right? That pandemic highlighted some very important things we need to prepare for the uncertainties of life we may find ourselves experiencing, right? So we will delve in this chapter or in this module. The goal is that we go deep into the principles of financial preparedness from a Christian perspective. The Bible is our teacher. Right. So let's read the Bible. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 8. We read this last week. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways, right? And be wise. Consider the ant's ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer, no ruler, yet it stores provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. An ant. What the Bible is saying that you and me can learn some principles from an ant. Such a tiny little creature. Yet it has profound wisdom to know what time it is. Right? Right now, what time is it in terms of the economy? These are the 7 days of the 7 years of plenty. This here is summertime where we are harvesting because winter is coming. Challenges are coming. I've said that struggles are a reality in life, right? There are people who live as if there will never be trouble. But troubles will always come. There are things that are beyond our control. Many of them that are beyond our control. And for those things that are beyond our control, we need to prepare for them. But we don't prepare for the rain the time the rain is falling. We prepare for the rain before the rain comes. By the time the rain comes, it is too late. There are people, after the COVID crisis came, hospitals were caught unawares. They had supplies for a week, and they were out. PPE, remember that acronym, personal protective equipment. They didn't have gloves. They ran out of gloves. They were paying, whoever had gloves at that time made a fortune. They were willing to pay at any price because they were caught unawares. They had little stored strategic storage, strategic, right? They didn't have. I remember receiving calls from my friends who are doctors, and knowing the kind of business that I do that involves PPE. They say, "Do you have any?" Yeah, because they were caught unaware. How does that happen? Preparedness is the key word. That is the word for today. Preparedness for the rainy day. Rain is coming. There may not be clouds in the sky today, but you and me need to have umbrellas and raincoats somewhere. I know prudent people who keep those things in their cars. Preparedness. But there are others who don't keep boots and raincoats and umbrellas because they don't understand the importance of preparedness. Are you ready should the economy tank today? That is the tenet of this lesson. Right. So we said last week, on the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, many were caught off guard. And that revealed the fragility of our financial stability for most individuals and families, because we found ourselves with businesses that were shuttered, unemployment soared, and economic uncertainty loomed, and it loomed large. The need for financial preparedness became glaringly evident. Why? Because there were sudden job losses, unexpected medical expenses. The pandemic itself underscored the importance of having a robust financial plan in place to weather the storms of life. Again, I ask, should something similar to COVID or double the impact of COVID, should it come today, are you ready for it? Are you able to continue putting food on the table for 6 months, for 3 months? Are you able to pay rent or mortgage for the next 6 months? Should your income be disrupted? Able? Are you able to visit the doctor or the hospital to take care of an unexpected medical emergency? Will your family be able to sustain the same lifestyle should something like COVID-19 happen again? The truth is that it will happen again, and even worse or similar. But the Bible predicts that these things will be worse, not better. Are you ready for it? Should we lose electricity to a nuclear attack, are you able to still cook? Are you ready? Do you have some strategic supplies stored somewhere should something happen? As citizens of the kingdom of God, we need to know that this life that we are living will not remain the same. Things will change. So if things change, will you still be able to sustain the current life that you are living? You may have to excuse me. I left my phone on, and if it rings again, I might have to go there to shut it off. But we are talking of the key word, preparedness, preparing for the rainy day, the basics of establishing an emergency fund. Right. What is the basics of that? You see, at the heart of financial preparedness, at the center of it, at the core of financial preparedness lies the concept of establishing an emergency fund. Do you have an emergency fund? I remember growing up, when I would ask my mother for something, and she would say, I don't have money. But should something happen suddenly and one of my siblings gets sick, you see her come back from her bedroom with a stack of money. I'm like, but mom, in the morning you said you didn't have money. Right. That's the reality of life. When she said I don't have money, she said I don't have money for the things that you're asking for. I have money set aside for emergencies, because she was always prepared. An emergency fund serves as a financial safety net, providing you and me and our families with the means to weather unexpected expenses or income disruptions without resorting to debt or depleting our savings. Because when an emergency happens and you don't have something saved for it, the only logical sense, because this is an emergency, and because it's an emergency, it rises up above all things, right? And it will require for you to take money from somewhere. If there's no money, you have to borrow. And now you incur a lot of unexpected expenses simply because you were not prepared for it. That's what we are talking about. That you and me, we need to set aside money for emergencies. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 8, the Bible says, again, go to the end, you sluggard, and consider his ways. What does it do? It stores, that's the key word, stores provisions in the summer and gathers food in the harvest. It stores. There's a storage somewhere. So just as an ant prepares for the rainy day, you and me also need to do that. We have to take precaution, proactive steps to prepare for the uncertainties that may come our way. Again, are you ready? Are you ready for it? Now, the question is, why do we have to do this? What is the purpose of an emergency fund? It is to cover all essential expenses. Please underline those two words, essential expenses. An emergency fund must be able to cover all, not some, but all essential expenses, right? Such as housing, utilities, food, medical care. Those are essential expenses. And for what period? They recommend 6 months. Anybody who does financial literacy, coaching or training, or personal financial, whatever it is, they recommend around 6 months or more. If you fail, have at least 3 months. And then you keep building it. You never stop building that fund until you are able to sustain 6 months of your essential expenses: housing, utilities, food, and medical care. Are you able to remain under your roof? Are you able, while you're under that roof, able to pay all utilities, including light and gas and trash? Are you able, while you are under that roof and paying utilities, are you able to buy food? And should one of your family members or two become sick, do you have enough to send them to the hospital? That is what we call an emergency fund. It must cover all essential expenses. That's how much you know, how much you need. So you add your housing, you add utilities, plus food, plus medical care. The total that you get multiplied by 6 months, then you know you have a safety net. If you don't have that, you're at risk, and the family is at risk. Right. So again, I want to emphasize that a sufficiently funded emergency fund must cover 6 months of all your living expenses, essential living expenses. Creating a buffer, right, or a cushion, allowing you and your family to navigate the temporary setbacks, to get up to your feet and be able to work again and to earn again. While you are going through those temporary setbacks, we are saying you should have a fund, a separate bank account set aside just for that. If family members come seeking to borrow money, what's the answer? We don't have it. Yeah, because if friends come, you don't have it. Because you see, what I've discovered in life is that emergencies often come immediately after you have disposed of your emergency fund. You had it sitting there for 1.5 years and nothing happened to you. And then somebody comes knocking and says, hey, I have an issue. Can you lend me $1,000? And you're like, oh, sure. Then here you go. The next day is when you need it. So learn to prioritize these things, right? We have to learn to prioritize these things. Right. So Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20 has a lesson for all of us. It says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gallop theirs down. The wise store, again, the key word, store. By diligently saving and preparing for the future, we demonstrate wisdom and prudence in the managing of God's resources. So what it means is that you realize this is the only time we are using the word saving. And that's very important, because you don't invest with your emergency fund. You save it where you can access it quickly. But that savings account must not be just a normal savings account. It should be a high yielding savings account or a money market account, something that you can just go in the bank and withdraw the money the same day. You're storing that 6 months worth of your income in a high yielding savings account. It's not the best in returns, but it's earning something while it's sitting there waiting to solve an emergency problem, an urgent problem. That's how we do it. We don't invest with it, but we put it in a high yielding savings account. So when establishing an emergency fund, it is essential to be consistent. Please underline that word, consistency. It creates discipline in saving. What do I mean by consistency? You have to fund your emergency fund from every paycheck, right? You have to build it up and to grow it from every paycheck until it reaches your goal. Don't wait for the day that you have a lump sum. Saving and investing is a consistency game. Consistency. Are you consistent in your savings? Saving for the rainy day from every paycheck, right? So you're setting aside a portion of your income each month, or each week, or each bi-week, putting aside a portion of it, 20%, 25%. You can go back to the video where we talked about the allocations and the percentages, right? But you have to put from every paycheck, right? It's going there. Make it non-negotiable, a non-negotiable savings, right? Set aside the fund, and that it comes out of your paycheck automatically. You don't have to do it manually. Automatic contributions or funding of our fund builds consistency and prevents us from taking it. Because if you let it come in your account and sit there, you know what happens, right? So keep the emergency fund in a separate but easily accessible account. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11, the Bible says, dishonesty money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. I love the Bible. It can be more specific than that, right? I want to read the Bible verse again. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow, little by little, from every paycheck, right? So by steadily accumulating resources over time, we strengthen our resilience and mitigate the impact of unseen challenges, because these challenges are coming. We have to prepare for them. Right. I hope you are following with me, and I hope you are learning something. So in times of crisis, right, an adequately funded emergency fund provides not only financial stability, but also, more importantly, peace of mind and the ability to focus on what truly matters without having to worry about money. That peace of mind, man, you cannot put a dollar sign to it. To come to a point where you have saved enough that you have peace of mind, right? That you have invested enough for the future, that you have peace of mind. The stresses that we go through, the anxieties that we go through life, the majority of them are the result of our failures to prepare for the inevitable. It is preparation, preparedness that gives us that peace of mind, knowing that you know what, should something happen, I have an account where I can go and pull some money, solve the problem. You're not driving worried that should something break, what am I going to do? You are going home and sleeping peacefully, knowing that should an emergent or an urgent home repair needs to happen, if the wind comes and blows a portion of the roof, there's an emergency fund sitting there to cover that. And once your mind knows that we're okay, you are going to sleep like a log. What makes us anxious and fearful and stressed is that we have not yet prepared for the inevitable. So the goal is preparedness. Now we're talking about basic living expenses to consider when establishing an emergency fund. These, remember what you said, right? Essential expenses. Now, I'm going to mention them all. Essential. Number one, they are in categories, right? They're in 5 categories. So we can actually include, if we subdivide it correctly, all of them are actually 10, right? But it depends on how you categorize them. But I'll give you in those 10 categories. Number one is what we call housing expenses, right? Housing expenses are rent or mortgage, number one. 2, property taxes. Because when they are needed, they are needed. Do you know that you can lose your house that you own if you don't have enough money to pay the taxes of that year? You can lose it. They will auction your house in a house that is worth hundreds of thousands in order to get their 5,000. They auction it. Yeah, that's the sad reality. It happens. So make sure that you don't just have rent money or mortgage money, but also put a portion of your property tax in that savings. Home insurance. Home insurance. It is the moment your insurance lapses that your house will burn or a tree will fall on it. If your insurance is good, nothing will happen. That's what happens in life. And I think you agree with me. Right. Home, emergency, home maintenance, and repairs. You have to put some money aside for that. So those 4 are for housing. Housing expenses, these are rent or mortgage. 1, 2, property taxes. 3, home insurance premiums. And 4, home maintenance and repairs. Under utilities, there are 5 essential expenses that you need to cover for. Right. Number 1, electricity. Number 2, gas. Number 3, water and sewer. Number 4, trash removal and internet and phone bill, including your cell phone. Right. You need to stay in touch. Doesn't matter how rough things are. You need to stay in touch. So make sure that you put aside money to cover those essential utilities. Number 3 is food and groceries. This is a simple. There's only one thing: monthly grocery expenses for all essential items. Right. Your current budget covers for non-essential items, but your emergency fund must cover all essential food items. Yeah, you won't die if you fail to buy ice cream. You won't die if you fail to buy cookies, right? You won't die if you fail to buy chocolate, right? And you won't die if you fail to go out and eat. So all you need under groceries and food are monthly grocery expenses for the essentials. Essentials. Oil, cooking oil. So those essential things that you know you cannot do without. Rice, pasta, some canned food, some, right? And then number 4 is transportation. Transportation. Number 1, which I put it there, but I don't like it. And I encourage that you eliminate it, which is a car note or a car payment. I tell you the truth. It's one of the things that I hate with a passion. A car payment. There is absolutely no need for a car payment. A car note. Remember what we said. Wealth builders never buy anything of value that loses value. Anything that is costly that loses value. You never do that. That's not what wealth builders do. Cars lose value. Do you know that you buy a new car today, you drive it off the lot. After 1 week or 1 month, go back with that car and ask them, I don't want this car. How much is it worth now? You'll be surprised to know that it would have lost 30% of its value. Right, so never buy a new vehicle. Never buy a vehicle that you need to pay for on a monthly basis. How do you buy a car? We shall talk about this in the future. The prudent way of buying a car. Save for it. Those are some of the short-term savings you might want to do. Save for it. Again. A good car is actually around $5,000. I mean, if you are buying anything more than that, yeah. Unless you have now made a lot of money and your investments are in the millions and all that. But if you are starting, that car note, yeah, you are paying $200 a month or $400 a month or some $700 a month. Imagine if that money was going into a brokerage account where you are investing in a REIT that pays you 16%. Imagine a car that you are paying $700 a month. Imagine investing $700 a month in a REIT that pays you 16 point whatever percent. Imagine what the dividends that will come from that over time. So instead of buy a car cash, something that is good and used, right? The purpose of a car is to take you from point A to point B. That's all. It's transportation. It is not for status. This is where the poor pretend to be rich to impress others, while the rich are pretending to be poor to build wealth. So, yeah, I have it there, car payment. That is if you have it. But if you listen to what I'm saying, you will thank me later. I have told people, including my own employees. I had an employee who had a car that was more valuable than me. And I sat her down and said, does this make sense to you? That I'm your employer, and you're driving a more expensive vehicle, almost 3 times the value of my vehicle. Does it make sense to you? And we sat down. I said, I want to help you. And I said, come here, show me your budget. She didn't have a budget. She has so many kids, no budget. She's struggling from paycheck to paycheck, sometimes asking me to give her a paycheck in advance. I said, this is not good. This is going to stop. I will not encourage you to be this unwise with your money. And the first thing I told her to do, go back and return this vehicle. Or she did, grudgingly. The boyfriend was mad, like livid. And she had him on the phone with me. I said to her, if he's that dumb, it's time to get rid of him. You don't need such a kind of a boyfriend. Right. But here's what happened. I'm telling these stories. Here's what happened. She returned the vehicle, and it took her about 6 months to pay back the difference. Remember, I told you, when you return this vehicle, they're going to give you less than you paid for because it has depreciated. And they said, yeah, we'll buy it from you. But we are buying you at I think for her, it was like $10,000 less. But I said, that's okay. And then they restructured the loan, and now she was paying less. But I said, no, double it so you can get rid of it. 6 months, she was done. Then I took her to the auction, bought a van, because she has a lot of kids, bought a van for $2,000. $2,000. Yeah, it was not the best van in the world. I can guarantee you that. And she said, how am I going to pull up at family events? I mean, she cried. She says, how am I going to pull up? I said, who cares? Who cares? But here's the good story. 3 years after that. So I said, how much were you paying for this car? Now this money that you were paying for the car is now going into your investment account. She opened the brokerage account for the first time in her life. So I said, this amount that you are paying per month is going to a brokerage account. And you're going to buy these REITs. She did that. Oh, man. 3 years later, she was smiling. And she was also living in an apartment that she was paying an exorbitant amount of money. I said, why are you living here? You can go into another apartment with the same size, $500 less. Again, she was just, it's for the show. She downgraded her apartment. She downgraded a lot of things and so many things. And because of the kids, she was getting a lot of money through tax refund. Almost $15,000, $15,000 a year. The money she was blowing every day. So I said, what have you done with this $15,000 for the last 5 years? She had nothing to show for it. So I said, okay, what if when it comes, this is money that you're not expecting, just put it in your investment portfolio. And for those 3 years, imagine 15. And during COVID, because of those many credits that the government gave, she actually put 25,000. Imagine 15 plus 15, 30 plus 25, $55,000. And she says, I now go to sleep, worry, no stress, no headache, no nothing. I mean, she was sitting pretty. I don't know where she is today because she's no longer an employee. But I can guarantee you that if she has kept that, she's over $100,000 in her portfolio. Somebody who's in her 20s. You can do that. So I'm saying eliminate that car note. That car not only made it become a wealth building. So once you buy a car cash, then what you have to worry about is only auto insurance, right? And gasoline and maintenance. You're done. Right. And then healthcare, number 5, well, healthcare. You need health insurance, prescription medication if you have, doctor visits and co-pays if you're a frequent visitor, dental and vision care you need, and then debt payment, which is again what we are training you to do, is that you shouldn't have any debt, right? But if you have, then you have to prepare money to pay your debts so that you don't lose your properties, because they'll come for it. And then under insurance, you have your life insurance premium. Oh, I hope you have it. Life insurance. The younger you are, the less you pay. Don't wait until you are older to buy insurance. The younger you are, the better. Disability insurance premiums and other insurance. And then number 8, personal and housing expenses. Personal and household expenses, sorry. Clothing, personal care. Personal care. You don't want to look ugly. Yeah, when you are going through financial problems, people will think, oh, what's happening, right? At least put some money for personal care so that you can still shave your mustache, right? You don't have to look like things are really bad, right? So put aside money for that. Child care, dependence care, pet care, pet. If you are not yet financially well, stop thinking about a pet or a dog. Those things are expensive, sometimes more expensive than a child. And if you neglect it, you go to jail. Imagine that. There's no need to have a dog until you have enough money for it. Right. And then miscellaneous expenses. These are the inevitable things that just show up that you're not prepared for. Put some money aside for that. It could be an emergency travel. If you are living in diaspora, a family member may get sick or die, that you have to go. Put some money aside. Legal fees, right? You need legal representation should something require you to. Those are what you call miscellaneous expenses that you never know may happen, right? And then the last is contingency fund. It's just an additional buffer for unforeseen expenses that you cannot categorize. It's just a contingency fund. Maybe just put a $3,000 or $2,000 or $1,000. Hey, I don't have any use for it, but hey, in case something shows up. Right. Once you do that, then you know that you have covered yourself. And usually when you are prepared like that, problems just disappear. I don't know why. Because they realize, no, you're prepared. You know, why should we visit them? They are prepared. But the moment you are not, you'll be in so much danger. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the importance of buying non-perishable items in bulk and storing the way for the rainy season. Now, this is very important. Non-perishable in bulk. This I learned from my own mother. Man, she would buy things like rice in big bags that she buys once a year. She's done. Things like pasta, things that don't get bad, spaghetti, macaroni, things like canned foods, right? Canned vegetables, canned fruits, canned beans, canned soups, canned meat, canned tuna, canned chicken. These items have a long shelf life. There is no need for you to buy them on a monthly basis. Store all those items enough to last you 6 months. Dried beans, lentils, chicken peas, all those. Store them somewhere in a cool place. And then tomato sauces and salsas and all those stuff. Imagine cereals and oatmeal and all the breakfast staples. They have a long shelf life. Go to the store and buy them in bulk. If you're in the United States, if you are buying those things, I would recommend you get a Sam's Club or a Costco card. Go there because there's a difference. If you didn't know, the items that you buy from Costco, they are of high quality and they are in bulk. So you save a lot. Try it. Try it. Flour, baking powder, all those things. Buy in bulk and store somewhere. Here's what you do right now. If you go to the store and buy bread today, and you go next week, it's higher by a few cents. So when you buy in bulk, you're actually saving a lot. That's a big way to save. Things like all toiletries, all of them, toothpaste, all of them, toothbrushes. There's no need to buy toothpaste month after month or week after week, right? Cooking oil, powdered milk, right? Vegetable oil, coconut oil. There's no need to buy those things every month. Just buy in bulk. Strategic. Have your own strategic storehouse in your own house. Do you know that there was a time when even toilet paper was gold in America because of the pandemic? Yet others had boxes and boxes in their homes. And they were actually able to help neighbors in the process. Create your own strategic storehouse, storeroom, where you put all these essential dry foods in a cool, dark place. Keep them there. You can buy from your own house. Why? Those are the non-perishables. I hope you have learned something, and I'm praying that God will bless you. As we keep learning, please remember that we shouldn't just be hearers of the word, but doers of it. May God bless you. Over to you, Coach Lucy. Sorry, I've gone over the time. I was not even checking. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Isaac, for the enlightening message. We appreciate all that you do for us and the truth that you tell us, because very few people are teaching this. And I'll keep saying it again. You are privileged to be getting this information for free. very few people are doing it, and probably 1% are doing it for free. So thank you, Coach Isaac, for this enlightening message. And thank you everyone for joining. At this moment, I will welcome one or two questions in the interest of time. Kindly feel free to ask any question that you have, and Coach Isaac will answer it. In the meantime, thank you, Kimberly, for your suggestion in the chat. I see you said for those in the US, AsiaStandard.com have even better prices than Costco. Thank you for sharing that with us. Anyone with a question, please feel free to unmute yourself or type it in the chat. I do see a question here from Caroline. How much or what percentage should the contingency amount be?
Thank you, Caroline. This one would be from person to person, right? There's no hard and fast rule on it. This is after you have catered for all the essential expenses. You have to figure out, based on your own realities, say, how much do I have? How much can I put as a contingency fund? And that's up to you. There's no, but it should be, if you were to ask me, it should be an amount that is sizable, at least above, not less than 1,000. Above 1,000 would be a good number. And how above 1,000 depends on your income and on your disposable income and on your ability to do that. But yeah, most emergency things are not that expensive. So if we can have another 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 just lingering somewhere, you'll be fine. Again, thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline, for your question. We do have another question here. How should one prioritize building out the emergency fund while still carry debt with high fees?
Yeah, it's one of the most profound questions, which I always say, the rule of the thumb is that do both. I have seen people make the mistake of prioritizing paying off the debt. Let me give an example. Let's say you are owing $10,000, right? And then you say, you know what, because I owe $10,000, I am going now, before I start building my emergency fund, I am going to pay off my $10,000. Here's what happens. Emergencies don't care that you are paying off your debt. You get the point? Emergencies don't even know that you are paying debt. You're paying off debt. Emergencies, actually, when you have nothing, that's when they show up. So you have to do both. And what I encourage is actually, during that time, if you can, remember, you have already incurred this debt. It is there. So here's what I would do if I was in that circumstance. I would pay minimum possible on my debt while I'm building my emergency fund. Minimum. I'm aggressive in building my emergency fund, and I'm paying minimum possible. If just interest only, if they allow me, I'll do that interest only until I'm done. The moment I'm done with building my emergency fund, probably to about 3 months of my essential expenses, then I change. I put more on my debt now. And then until I've cleared it. And after I've cleared it, then I continue building aggressively my emergency fund towards 6 months of covering all my essential expenses. That's what I will do. The initial 3 months, focus on building emergency fund. And then the next, focus on your debt. When you're done with the debt, refocus on the emergency fund until it's built up. That's the formula that I encourage.
Thank you, Simba, for your question. In the interest of time, if you have any other question, whether it's concerning this topic or any other financial topic, kindly feel free to shoot us an email at kingdomfinancialinstitute@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you and answer your questions. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of a new guest. I see we have a new name here, Tanya. Tanya, welcome so much to our platform, Kingdom Financial Institute. We love guests and we are glad to have you. And we hope that this is not your first and last time here. And I hope your first time was good and you will invite someone else next time. If you don't mind, in the chat, you can let us know who invited you or how you got to know about us. I see Cheryl probably invited her. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for inviting her. Yes, she confirmed it. Thank you for inviting her. And let's keep inviting people so that we do not benefit alone. And I do have one announcement. We had mentioned earlier, we have a real estate exclusive class coming up on the 29th of this month through the 2nd of May. So it's going to be a 4-day exclusive class. And I'm going to type the registration link in the chat as I speak. So kindly make sure you register for this class so that you're able to distinguish yourself. The title of the class is How to Invest in Real Estate Without Owning Property. So these are non-traditional ways to invest in real estate. So kindly block your calendars from the 29th to the 2nd of May for this exclusive class. The link is in the chat. And if you have any questions regarding the class, again, kindly feel free to shoot us an email at kingdomfinancialinstitute@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to answer any questions that you may be having regarding the class. We also have one-on-one sessions. If you'd love to have a one-on-one session with Coach Isaac as well, please feel free to reach out to us again, and we will schedule a consultation with you, and you'll be able to customize your own plan with him. So without further ado, I'd love us to come to the end of this session with our word of prayer. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for this amazing session. Thank you for all the amazing people who joined us today and everyone else who's going to be watching this later on. Thank you for everyone taking their time to invest in their lives and growing and learning, King of Glory. Thank you, because we will make use of the information that we get here and not just passively listen and not do anything, King of Glory. Thank you for all the testimonies that will come out of this and all the lives that will be transformed, King of Glory. Thank you for all families represented here. May remember each one of them and meet them all at their points of need. Thank you for Coach Isaac, who you blessed us with. May you continue blessing him as he continues being a blessing to us. In Jesus' name I pray, believing and trusting. Amen. I have been your host. My name is Coach Lucy. Thank you all for joining, and see you next week, same time, same place.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.